My entire life's work has been inspired by the relationships that exist within nature. How, in nature, form follows function. The balance, the need to exist in harmony. For me, it's all about composition, the way the light falls onto a subject, molding, shaping, creating, so that the person viewing the work might be moved, maybe even inspired in some way.
Just as in nature, the building design plays a lot with rhythms, beats, and harmonies that just are creating a very simple architecture, and therefore that is true to itself. When we look at lessons from nature that we would have applied to this building is, obviously nature uses as much as possible the energies that are surrounding itself. So here in this building, we were trying to use as much the surrounding energies, mainly the light.
We've set out what we call our deep green aspirations, and the first three of our deep green aspirations are being a great place to work, a great place to bank, and being a great place to invest. We know that sustainability and greenness are right at the heart of Nedbank's green image. So phase 2 clearly needed to be built in a way that aligned with our strategy and image.
The Green Star certification of a building is a third-party certification. So it's a certification that has a very high connotation in the market and certainly is widely regarded as a very serious tool that encompasses a broad range of environmental performance indicators, pretty much like an ISO standard sort of a requirement. What's interesting with this building here is that the whole design process started way before the Green Building Council was established.
Being the first Green Star rated building in the country is wonderful for Nedbank. Phase 1 and Phase 2 are very similar in appearance from the outside, but when you look at the technologies that have gone into the building, that's where the major difference is. Phase 2 has got effectively 3 main key features. The first being a full economy cycle air conditioning plant, which allows the outside ambient air to be brought into the building when the time is appropriate. The next major issue, which is different to most buildings, was the Dali lighting system. This helps to dim the lights on the perimeter of the building and put more light on the interior of the building. It also switches the lights off when people aren't in the workspace. And the third feature of the green building is the black water treatment plant.
With the black water treatment plant, we'll be in a position to take recycled water, filtered and brought back up to adequate quality levels so that we could irrigate the landscape, we could flush the toilets and use it for heat rejection of the building through the cooling towers.
The air conditioning system used in this building is a full economy cycle air conditioning system. What that system does is that it uses the air of the outside as much as it can, because about 60% of the time, the air temperature outside of your building is actually the air temperature that you want inside your building. The double glazing is quite an important item, because double glazing increases your insulation of your facades and therefore keeps out the extra energy that you don't want and keeps in the coolth or the warmth in the winter inside your building. So it's a much better insulation material. What it also does is that it increases drastically the fresh air intake into the building and therefore creates a building environment that is far better to work in.
In our design criteria, we wanted to try and keep, obviously, as much natural light penetration as possible. So one of the main factors in terms of the design criteria was to try and get all the cellular space around the center of the building and the core of the building, thereby having any enclosed areas as far away as possible from the natural light, not blocking then that particular natural light penetrating into the building. Which in turn, obviously, then has a spin-off in terms of the energy saving, because then the lighting, which has an ability to dim and bright to the amount of natural light penetration, works the electrical consumption ultimately.
When sourcing the construction materials, the main criteria was to source durable materials, and it comes back to building the building once and making sure it lasts. If we look at some specific materials that were more green, if I can call them that way, there was low VOC paints that were used into the building. There was special carpet glues and joinery glues that were used so that there is less nocive products that are emitted from those materials after construction. The timber also comes from sources where we are assured that the trees are going to get replanted and the forests are going to be replenished.